Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special online event today called Awakening Your Kundalini Masterclass, Advanced Teachings for Raising Your Vibration and Bridging Heaven and Earth. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the president and CEO of the Shift Network, and I'm delighted to be with you here today to have my Kundalini activated and my understanding expanded right alongside with you. We're going to be taking an hour to really journey deep into what has sometimes been seen as an esoteric subject, but is really central really for the awakening of our consciousness, the activation of our greatest health and well-being, the bliss that's possible in the spiritual life, and ultimately the fuel that allows us to manifest our mission in a deeper way. So we're going to be with spiritual teacher Raja Choudhury. He's a rising star on the Shift scene. He had a recent course with us that had 600 people in it, remarkable reports of transformations and really high rates of satisfaction and fun in this program. He's somebody who is had a foot in both worlds. He's both been a renowned filmmaker in India and a conscious media strategist, as well as deep on a spiritual path of transformation, drawing from from Kundalini Shakti, Tantra, and Kriya Yoga lineages to really create his own unique synthesis. So I think he draws from very deep roots of spiritual traditions and also bridges that into a very modern context in a way that makes it very accessible. And I think that's part of why people have loved what he's been teaching and bringing forward. He's got his own amazing story of Kundalini awakening and really a deep experience with many wisdom traditions outside of India. He began with Kriya Yoga in 1998 with Self-Realization Fellowship. He's worked with Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, a whole number of different traditions of Tantra, and has initiated hundreds of people around the world into the magic of Kundalini awakening. So with that said, welcome Raja Choudhury.
Good to be here, Stephen. Thank you for having me again.
Right. Well, I know that we want to make this a very sacred experience for people, so let's have you open this space with an invocation.
So I would like to start by calling all the teachers that have ever come before me, around us, right back to the first teacher, which is considered to be Shiva, the Adi Yogi, the first yogi. And I want us to call back through time to all the great teachers and ask them to join us in this auspicious gathering so that we can transmit energy and thought and ideas and knowledge to everyone. Aim Reem Shreem Aim Kleem Soh Hamsa Shiva Soham Sakafrem Hasaksha Malavariyom Hasom Sahaksha Malavarya Im Saho Saruparupeta Vesha Gunave Shri Annapurnama Saita Shri Amritananda Natha Shri Guru Shri Padukam Pujayami Tarpayami Namaha. We do it always twice. Aim Reem Shreem Aim Kleem So Hamsa Shiva Soham Sakafrem Hasaksha Malavariyom Hasom Sahaksha Malavarya Im Saho Sarupa Rupa Retave Shra Gunave Shri Annapurnama Saita Shri Amritananda Natha Shri Guru Shri Padukam Pujayami Tarpayami Namaha. Shri Thank you.
Thank you for that. I felt myself straighten in my seat and the energy start to open up. And I was like, well, maybe we don't even need to have a talk about Kundalini here, because ultimately it's about this activation of energy within us that is aligning us with the divine. And I know we don't want to spend too much time on the basics of Kundalini because we want this to be a masterclass and really start to go into the advanced terrain, but maybe give us a little bit of just a kind of a brief overview of what Kundalini is and how it serves our awakening before we go further.
There's a wonderful thought that comes with this, which is that at the very beginning of the creation of the universe, the esoteric tradition tells us that the first emanation was the sound of the Bij mantra, Om. Om. And when that mantra emanated, it was pure consciousness, formless, dark space, nothing but consciousness. And that formlessness, which was called Shiva, the Sada Shiva. Shiva means no form. Shiva. When it first emanated, it began to coalesce into form. And that first form, that energy that went into the form, that Shiva, the formless one, became form, was called Shakti. And this is what we call the Shiva Shakti, the dance of the masculine and the feminine. The masculine impetus being consciousness and the feminine impetus being the creation of worlds, the creation, the desire to create, the Ichcha. And once that happened, it was a dramatic effect. Planets, cosmos, galaxies came into being, we came into being. And every being had this energy descend into them. It was almost like something comes into the top of your head when you're in your gestation in your mother's womb and gives you consciousness, awakens your consciousness along your spinal cord. And once it has done its job, this Shakti energy that comes in lets you live a full life, but it goes down and sits at the base of your spine. And the tradition says that it goes through 3 worlds down your spinal cord. So as it comes into you, it comes Om, becomes Aim, Reem, Shreem. Ha is the sound of Shiva exploding inside you. And Shat is the sound of Shakti becoming back to Shiva. So Ha and Sha come into being, and it goes down your body, Aim, Clean, So. And when it gets to the bottom of your spine, it went into a dormant state. And it is seen as a linga with a serpent coiled around it 3.5 times. That potential energy is sitting there waiting to be awakened. From a child, it just goes dormant. And most human beings never see the full awakening of this potential energy until the moment of death. But that is there, sitting, this Kundalini energy at the base of your spine. And this energy is the Kundalini. And occasionally you will see it in life. Sparks of it will come up when you have an ecstatic state in sexual union or in creativity or in art, or you see a beautiful sunset, or you have an emotional moment. But this rising of the energy is erratic when it's not done in a beautiful, careful way. But once you learn how to awaken this energy, and it comes up the middle of your spinal cord, this Kundalini energy transforms your life. And the art and science of doing it is the wonderful thing we teach and try and do together.
Well, that's a beautiful explanation, and I want to just tease out a few things there for just to note that, I mean, this really is a universal inheritance. In a way, it's like the primordial life force that we've been given, and that a lot of the seed syllables and mantras are almost like tuning forks, that you're sort of reactivating this like deeper current that's just really kind of sleeping there. So it kind of gives a bit of a bridge of understanding of like why we're working with sounds and mantras, because there's this kind of like recalibration of a reconnection with this primordial energy force in us, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, and one should imagine that the very first emanation was a sound, is the esoteric idea. Then came light and form. But that first emanation was like a whole universe came into being. And this primordial nature is that one could consider that the spinal cord and the journey up the spinal cord is like playing a flute. And you're a musician and a magician. And once you start blowing in this wind, this prana, this is the Kundalini, this wind rising up the middle of the spine, up the flute. And as you learn to play the chakras along the spinal cord, you become this musician and magician and create the ideal life you want by learning to vibrate at different frequencies. Yes, absolutely.
I love those metaphors. That's really become a magician and a musician. They're playing the flute of your spine. Wow. I love the way you're already shifting our understanding of this. So let's go Maybe it'd be good to share a little bit about your own Kundalini awakening and the fruits of that and how that expressed before we go into some of the different advanced practices that you want to touch upon today.
I mean, in my own childhood, I grew up very much in a household that believed in Ma Kali. And Ma Kali is the dark goddess or the remover of obstacles. I didn't know the esoteric meaning when I was a child, but I'd see my father do rituals every morning and every evening to Kali. And it was quite fascinating because I learned all the rituals, but I never took them very seriously. And through my 20s, I became quite agnostic. I was into martial arts. I learned Aikido and Kung Fu, and I also practiced Tai Chi and Qigong, and I learned many things. And I only returned to the way of the Indian esoteric tradition when I had a massive experience of some plant medicine and hallucinogens in my early 30s that revealed amazing geometrical patterns and lights in my life. And I knew deep inside that I could not rely on external devices to achieve this. I had to find a way to do it myself. And then my journey began in 1998, and I started with Kriya Yoga at the Self-Realization Fellowship. I then took initiation into Raja Yoga with the Ramakrishna Vivekananda Centers in New York, where I was living at the time. And you have to remember, I was a creative director at the time. I was working in digital media in New York City, earning a great salary, living on the Upper East Side. Life was good. And here I was, had this parallel life of practicing. And then I was doing these kriyas and these mantras, and everything was happening. I could feel electrical charges swirling in my head, but nothing consistently was happening. And then I introduced this idea, which was initiated into me by a teacher I knew, of Shakti, of adding the sacred feminine to my practice with a beautiful mantra, which I share in the teachings I do now, which is Lalita's mantra, which is a beautiful mantra that goes like this. It goes, Ka e ilari, hasa kahalari, sakalari. Aim clean soul And when I started to play this song on the flute of my Kriya and my breathing, it was in September 2006. I thought I'd read about experiences, I had seen different things done, I had seen openings in other people, but I never knew it could happen to me. And suddenly this massive explosion occurred, like a volcano erupting at the base of my spine, spewing electrical charges up my spinal cord, erupting in my heart. And I was in Jyoti Mudra, and I was looking up into the third eye, and this explosion happened in my head, and 1,000 suns just lit up in my head. And Stephen, that was the day that everything changed for me. It was the most profound experience of my life. No acid, no psilocybin, nothing could do that. It was just unbelievable. And I stayed in that state for a while. For days, I was in that state of seeing everything dissolving around me. And then the last 11, 12 years has been a journey of going from creative director to serious esoteric seeker. And I've taken initiation, I've gone deep, deep, deep into this, and now I'm sharing it with the world. So it's been a wonderful journey.
What a journey. I mean, the way you describe the 1,000 suns lighting up is just electric. So let's dive into some of the practices and teachings we want to cover here today. So I know the first one, when on the page describing today, we talked about 5 simple practices to summon the energy of Kundalini Shakti. And let's go into that. So what are some of these practices that we can activate ourselves? As you said, it's not about an exterior activation. It's really an interior thing that we do ourselves.
It is. And the most important thing to remember is that everything around us is energy. We call this energy prana. Prana is everywhere. The entire cosmos is made of prana, this unseen, subtle energy that rides everywhere. And when we bring prana into our bodies, we are alive only because of prana. It pumps out through the heart into all of our being, and it's the equivalent of the Chinese qi, and it is the same energy. This pranic energy flows through us and keeps us alive until the moment we die. But if we learn how to add more prana into our lives, then we can lift up this Kundalini energy. It needs a push. And this prana has to come in. So the techniques we do, I'm going to show you 5 little hacks right now that anybody can do that will allow you to lift that pranic energy, prana uta, up your spinal cord and allow for the feeling of kundalinis to start rising up the middle of your spine. So the first one I want to do is I'm going to show you how to clench and wake up the base of your spine called the Muladhara. And it's called the Ashwini Mudra. You double breathe in by sucking your breath in and pulling up your bottom, your anus, and you suck it up, hold it tight, and then pull it up as if you're pulling it up the spinal cord. So I want you to imagine you suck in and pull it up like that. That's the first one. And then let it tighten at the back of your neck and hold it in that tight position with the bottom tight, the neck tight, and touch the tongue to the roof of the mouth and hold it. And then you just let go. Do it again. And hold it tight bottom, spine straight, put the tongue on the roof of the mouth and drop it. Again. And release it. Now, what this does, and it's in Qigong as well as in Kriya Yoga and different practices, is that it sends a rush up the cerebrospinal fluid, up the spinal cord. So you're squeezing the bottom where the Muladhara, the Kundalini is sitting, and you're pumping up the prana up the spinal cord to the back of the neck here, where this journey of Kundalini goes over your head and fills this Brahma's cave in the middle of your head. And it's exactly the same journey that the cerebrospinal fluid takes going up and down your body. So this beautiful energy surges up. The second breath I want to teach you is that anything you want in your day depends on which nostril you're breathing through. And it activates a different part of your brain. So we call the right side of our body, the right nostril, Pingala, which is the Shiva side, the masculine energy, willpower, action. And that correlates to our left brain. So when you breathe in the right side, by just holding the left nose and breathe in and out, you're creating a channel of willpower. And the sound is sham, and it activates the left brain. And this allows you to wake up. Then the second one is when you want to meditate and you want to activate Shakti and your heart center, you do the left side. And then you can alternate the breathing and see what happens. If your nose is blocked, for example, whichever nose is open, put your armpit under that nostril and the other one will open for you. It's quite a magical hack. The third hack I want to teach you is in your belly button, your hara, where your power center lies. And this is called the hara breath, where you use the linga mudra like this. This is the position of the hand on the mudra. You put it in your belly and you suck in 3 times, filling your belly with air, and then you let it out. And you pump it like that a few times. This lights a fire in your belly and it attracts the energy to get the strength going in you to cope with the day. The next hack is to cross your hands over your heart, left hand over your heart center, right hand over the other hand, and feel your heartbeat. And then as you feel your heart beating against your hand, you can transmit that energy to any part of your body to bring about healing as the prana starts flowing through you. The next breath is to wake up this area of your body, and you suck up 5 times the air to your neck, and then you relax your neck, and then you rotate. So you go 5 chakras. one at the base, Muladhara, Swadhisthana at the sex organs, the Manipura at the navel, Anahata at the heart, and Visuddha at the throat. 5 centers. We breathe 5 breaths and bring it up. Then we bend our head back, tighten the back of our neck to pull Kundalini energy up, lean forward to send it forward into the brain, and then rotate your head and let go. So you do those 5 breaths, and I promise you, you will have a tremendous prana going through your body. Kundalini will begin to move up, and you never know what might happen.
Well, I love it. I love that you also call them hacks, because it's like, if people aren't familiar with that, it's like a shortcut for us to be able to do something that might have taken years in the past, but now we're getting better. There's an acceleration going on as we get more skilled at using all these different practices from different traditions. Well, I know that a key part of for you that in the teaching, which also connects to the mission of the Shift Network, is that like we literally become a vehicle for bridging heaven and earth, that we are the conduit, if you will, between a higher, more celestial, more awake spiritual template of reality and this physical level, and so that we kind of become a download point. So I'd love for you to share, how does that work into a Kundalini practice?
So when you actually do this breathing, what happens is that you start feeling an air passage between the base of your spine and the top of your head. It's like that flute we were talking about. It's like a musical instrument. And if you suck air like a whistling sound, you'll feel a cool breeze rising up the middle passage and going right the way to the top. Now, this gateway, called the Sahasrara, is the gateway to heaven. And the base gateway is the gateway to earth. It's called Muladhara. And we are creating a bridge between Muladhara and Sahasrara. So the sounds that go with it are quite beautiful as well. So as you experience the sounds and these breathing I taught you, you can do the 6 key sounds before you go to the silence of the gateway to heaven. So to bridge heaven and earth, it is like a flute playing musical instrument, and you can vary the notes, but the core notes are at the Muladhara. It is lam, la, lam. And the tongue touches the roof of the mouth at the end. That releases all the cerebrospinal fluid and the activities in the Brahma's cave here. So you go lam at the base, vam at the yoni or linga, vam, va, vam. This turns you into the flute, va, vam. Then as you get to the fire of your belly, at the Manipura, at the navel diaphragm area, it is ra, ram. Then as you get to the heart, it becomes yam. When you get to the throat, it becomes hum. And when you get to the third eye and the agya here, over the head, it becomes om. Om. And in that silence of the om, at the end of the om, we enter the 7th chakra, and we go into the silence of that heavenly spheres above. So if you do it together like one single flute instrument playing, it becomes lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om. Come with me up the chakras. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om. There you go. That's how you connect heaven and earth.
There it is. Simple enough. I love how well you just take these complex practices and distill them into a very simple synthesis for us. It's beautiful. So I know we have a lot of ground to cover, and for folks out there, the intention today is in some ways to give you a bit of an overview of the many practices that you can do, or don't have the time to go deep into each one. That's really what we're going to be doing in an upcoming advanced program with Raja. We'll share a bit about towards the end of the hour. So we want to give you a little flavor of each. So let's talk about the garland of letters. This was not one I was familiar with before, but it's another powerful practice. Say more about that.
Sure. I mean, all of us have heard about the 108 goddesses of Shakti, and we don't understand what that means. Most of us don't understand what it means, but what it means is that there are 108 sounds in your body, and 108 sounds are formed by drawing a garland of letters. Now, the Sanskrit alphabet has 50 letters, and if you take these 7 chakras I talked about, especially the first 6 where we went Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, each one of those chakras has petals, and each one of those groups of petals have alphabets attached to them. Now, once you learn to draw the garland of letters, which is what Ma Kali wears on her neck with the 50 heads on her neck, you create the mantra to activate all the Shaktis in your body. So you become a living Shakti. Now, the way it works is that just like we did Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, we can actually start with the eyes of the third eye and go down one sequence of letters, 50, up once, and then again down the other side of Ida, down 50 letters, and then we go up the center with 6 sounds, and we come to the roof of the head where we have the 2 sounds of Reem and Shreem, and that takes us into super consciousness. Now, that's 108 sounds. So when you think about it, the 108 goddesses are places in your body through which the sacred pranic energy flows. So when in the advanced teachings I will share with you over the next few months, we will go into details of these letters. But the main thing is to feel them. And there is no need for a goddess to be attached. But once you understand the goddess esoteric metaphor and meaning, it becomes richer for you. So for example, we start on the left side, with the right side with Sham, and that is the right petal of the Agya chakra. Sham. Then if you come to the throat, you go round this way, around the throat, and all the letters start with the vowel sounds of Sanskrit. So you go Am, Im, Om, Om, Ram, Rim, Lam, Liam, I, O, Ah. So you go round the throat, and you actually do this dance through every chakra. Then on the left side you do it the opposite direction, and then you go up the center and you open all the chakras. That's how it works. It's a wonderful journey, and I want to share it with you as we go deeper into it.
So this also connects to the Shri chakra Meru as well? Is that
yes.
the term?
I mean, there are 2 different approaches to the same concept, and this is called a Shri chakra. Most of you have seen the Shri yantra, which is a 2D image of this. This is a map of your consciousness. And at the middle of it is this ultimate state of the top of your head here, the Bindu, which connects you to super consciousness. So when you look at it in a 3-dimensional Meru, your body is this Meru. So at the top of your body is the Bindu, and the energy that sits there is called Lalita. And we do the mantra, Ka-e-ilarim, Hasakahalarim, Sakalarim. This magical mantra brings grace into your body by going down into all these nodes in your body. And at the base is your earth element, is Ganesh, is this earth base that you've come from, and at the top is heaven. So this is another way of bridging heaven and earth.
Beautiful. I'd love to have you share a little bit more about the sacred geometries, like the Sri Yantra there, and this role of using certain geometries as also a way to activate Kundalini and integrate and stabilize it as well.
So in the Kula, we have this school of thinking is called the Tantra, which is the Kula Tantra. Kula means the petaled way, the lotus petals way of Tantra, which means that you're activating these inner energies in you through breath, through sound, ka, e, ila, rim, lam, sham, vam, all these sounds, and through visualization of sacred spaces and geometries in your being. So there are two parts to this tradition. One is called the Shri tradition of Sri Kula, which is the beauty and grace and divine nature of the world. And the other side is the one we try not to deal with, but we have to at some point, which is our subconscious mind, our unconscious, our dark recesses of our mind from which we come. And we must accept that. And that is called the Kali Kula. So when you look at the sacred geometries, you're forming alignments not just between Shiva and Shakti, Shiva being an upward pointing triangle and Shakti being a downward pointing triangle, which intersects at the heart and then forms the Sri Yantra from it. But you are also intersecting between the Shri and the Kali inside you. You are both the beautiful, divine beauty goddess of creativity and art and abundance like Lakshmi, or you are also this energy of Kali, which is a remover of all the obstacles and all that karmic luggage we carry. So one can almost create a sacred geometry in self to get rid of this, and using the two traditions to create that journey upwards.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, and so another area that we said we would discuss is about the third eye. So you talked about raising the energy to the throat chakra and the breath to do that. And the third eye often plays a very significant role in particularly yogic traditions as sort of the seat of a deeper awakening that would sort of like we see reality in a different way, really open the lens of perception to higher intuition, to being able to see the world in a really clear, intuitive way. And so I'd love you to share a little bit more about that process and maybe touch upon how one thing that I think is quite different about how you approach Kundalini is that you are more focused on first opening the base rather than just opening higher up, which some traditions focus most of their attention on the higher chakras.
Well, put it this way. If you're not tethered, how can you be untethered? Just imagine an untethered, spiraling consciousness. You may not want to return to this life. You might end up spiraling into states of ecstasy and then terror. You don't know what might come. So unless you are grounded, unless you understand prana, unless you understand your fears, the karmic luggage you carry. In fact, one of the metaphors used in opening up the upper regions of your head is you get to the throat and you're confronted by the most terrifying aspect of Shiva called Bhairav or Kali. Bhairav is death, the Dakini of the Tibetan tradition with the teeth, the Kala Bhairav, the dark one, the one who gets into the shunya, the emptiness of space. And it confronts you because it is supposed to come to you only at death and show you your life and say, do you have any regrets? Do you carry karmic luggage with you, or are you free now and light as a feather to float up into the higher regions and become ether? So unless you can dissolve at the throat, how are you going to go up to the higher regions and float and become a yogi and yogini up there in the blue sky above, the Kechuri, the sky walking up there? So the secret is that we have to burn all our crap, our karma, our negativity, our energies, our mistakes, our errors, all away before we can actually travel to the higher regions. And once we start doing it, two things happen. One is we open up a light beam to come into us from the top. By opening the third eye, this light beam comes into you and it comes down to your heart. And then that lights up and burns away all the bad karma. And then the fire we create from below lights the fire into which you throw the bad karma and burn it away. And that creates a smoke which lets you dissolve your ego and rise up to the third eye. And then once you get to the third eye, by using certain concentration techniques that I do teach, I would like you to feel it and see it. A light starts coming in. And it is the most divine, blissful light that you will ever see in your life. And when that light begins to come into you, the heart becomes the place that everything begins to sit at. So one becomes a living bridge between heaven and earth, and all karma is burnt away, and you are free of your karmic luggage, and you sit in that bliss consciousness. And from that, you act in the world. It's a beautiful state.
It's a beautiful state. And I think, obviously, if you're moving from that state, whatever you are creating from that is going to be fully in alignment with the higher plan, with the divine truth. And so it's going to flow much more effortlessly. And I know that you've, one thing that you've really emphasized in your course and other places, when you do activate these energies, you become a better creator. You were once a creative director. And so this is fuel for directing the creation of your life as well. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that.
You know, in the teaching, there's a wonderful way of looking at it. That with every in-breath, I hear and feel the sound ha, hum, ha. And with every out-breath, I dissolve my entire being back into this point and into superconsciousness. Sam, sa, or shreem. So hreem, or ha, and sha, and shreem, sa, are this interchange between superconsciousness and form. And one thing you have to realize that with every in-breath, I get a chance to design a new universe. And with every out-breath, I die again. So imagine that I can die and be reborn completely just in one breath. So I can recreate myself in the very next breath I have. This means that I have to learn how to design the perfect breath. So just imagine that as I take in my next breath and I hear the sound ha, hum, my world comes into being. And this being I see as positive, as full of light, as energetic, as well, as being well. And then I let go again because I have no control over this. So I say, sha, sa. And in that surrender, I know that I'm guided by powers beyond just poor little me in this flute. I am playing the song of all the spheres of the cosmos. And then I suck in the next breath. Hum. And another universe comes into being. So guess what, guys? You have a chance to redesign your consciousness, your being, your wellness, your abundance in the very next breath that you take. This is the beauty of this work.
I love it. I love the way you speak about this. I wonder if, so we've covered a lot of the key points that we at least touched upon them. And I'd love to maybe just have you reflect a little bit on some of the myths of Kundalini that are out there and how to really work with it safely as well. That's also something that has come up. There's a lot of, I think, fear around working with Kundalini because it is a powerful force and can be destabilizing if you don't work with it in a really systematic way. So I'd love for you to speak a little bit about that.
So the way I taught it in the last course we did, and the way I'm going to go deeper into it over the next half a year with all of you, hopefully, is to take you step by step from energy and base of the earth through the higher centers. So, and to get to know our unconscious mind as well, meet Kali, meet the darkness of the fears that we have, and then overcome them, burn them, and then draw our sacred geometry of the perfect life we want to create and visualize it and feel it and open up the higher center so we can design it up here and bring it to our heart and manifest it. So one of the things that you have to learn to do, and all of those who took my course already know this, is that there's an energy that has to be dealt with at the early stages of Kundalini awakening. It comes up in the form of your unconscious or subconscious mind coming forward and throwing things at you to try and stop you from cleansing and opening that flute that you want to play. So the experiences that one has, whether they are bliss experiences or panic and fear experiences and trauma, are not the Kundalini itself awakening, but this pranic energy flowing in you. And as this prana flows, the body is reacting. So we have to tell it to relax, to feel these energies coming and not get traumatized. And as we burn this new fire, we also get rid of all the traumas we had, all the fears. We had all our childhood scars, all our constellations, all our pain, all our suffering, all our self-doubts, our self-esteem start to lift away. And then we open the heart and boom, a new being comes into being. One.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I think this is a good time to really bring people's attention to this new opportunity to go much deeper with you. And first of all, I want to say how illuminating it is just spending this time with you, and how clear it is that you have all this mastery to share in a way that people can really relate to and get huge value from. And I think that's part of why in our last program with you, which was a 7-week program, we had, I think, one of our highest percentages ever of people asking to go deeper and wanting to go deeper with you. So as a result of that, we have created a new program with Raja. It is called Awakening Your Kundalini Advanced Program, an initiation into raising your vibration and bridging heaven on earth. So in many ways, the 7-week served as sort of a primer and to get things cooking and mobilizing, but really to stabilize and work with the Kundalini energy over time. It is a journey and a process, and there's taking these practices into your daily life. There's really learning how to work with your breath, to take each of these smaller practices you share and open them up to a full engagement. And to do so with the guidance of somebody who has really walked the path before you and can articulate exactly what you need to know about how to refine your practice and go further. So it's going to be a 22-session program stretching over many months. And you can find all the details at awakeningyourkundalini.com. Awakening, as it sounds, your Kundalini is KUNDALINI.com. And so, Raja, I'd love for you to share in your own words what you're excited to share with folks over these 22 weeks and how they're really going to benefit from having this deep dive into activating and working with Kundalini.
So as you said, Stephen, we're calling this an advanced program. So part of the bundle for those that are of you that are new to this work is that you will have full access to the 7 trainings that I already provided and gave to students, that you can watch the videos before you start the program and do some of the practices so that you come to a level of understanding. Even though I will cover all of them in the first few classes, I would love you to watch that and get to know it. So part of the bundle is you're getting that 7-week program that we did. And for those that did the 7-week program for you, this is the next step. We're going to go deep. We're diving deep into the ideas and the concepts that you've tasted and experienced over the last 7 weeks. So what will happen is that I'm going to take you through. The first class is a bonus class, which is an introductory class to the Laya path, the path of Kula and Kriya and Kundalini and what it is and how we're going to navigate this energy and what we're going to do over the 7 months. I want you to see this 7 months as one of the words we love is satsang. It's like a journey with me. As fellow travelers, we're going to go deep into the study of each part of this subject. So the first part and the first month, I'm going to deal with prana, this energy around us, how to activate it, how to channel it, how to heal, how to create body energy inside you and heal yourself, heal others, how to feel energetic, how to be well, how to be powerful and strong, how to send it to all kinds of work in yourself. And then we're also going to look beyond prana at the 5 different pranas, but we're going to look at what is called ojas and tejas, which are the different energy systems in your body, like the food energy we consume, and that forms the sexual semen and the blood and the tissues, and then the electronic information, which is tejas, this well-being fire of the hormones, of the glands, of the electrical systems that trigger wellness, consciousness, sleep. We're going to look at all of that very carefully. In the second part, we're going to look deeply into how we bridge this idea and lift ourselves up through this flute, through this garland of letters that we talked about. And we're going to go deep into the garland of letters and understand the chakras and the petals and the sounds, basic sounds. So we're not going to go into complex mantras, because there are 3 ways to approach this information. One is through breath, one is through bead sounds and mantras and mudras, and the other is through deep mantras by imagining a deity or an image or a feeling. Now, all 3 we will practice, but the first 2 are the most important because they trigger this awakening. Then we're going to learn about the Sri Chakra, we're going to learn about the body, we're going to learn about Kriya, we're going to learn about Choudhury and opening the third eye and navigating inside this dome of your head. And then we're going to meet Lalita at the top. We're going to meet the Kalis, the Das Mahavidya, the 10 Kalis in your body, which control the 10 outlets, the nostrils, the eyes, the mouth, the ears, the yoni and the anus. And these goddesses that control your subconscious and your fear, and address all of them and learn to rise up to the top one, the top Mahavidya, which is called Lalita. And her mantra, we will study deeply and learn it, called Ka-e ilarim, Hasaka halarim, Sakalarim, Aim Kleem So, So Kleem Aim. And then finally, at the last stage, we'll go to the vast nothingness, that we came from nothing at the mother at the base, and we go to nothing into Shunya. And here we will see the dance of Shiva and Shakti, and we will learn the 112 meditations of the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, and we will understand how to work with the Shakti we have generated and become super conscious beings. This is the whole journey we're going to do in 7 months. Not a bad trip.
It's an amazing journey, and I should note, so each of those modules is a full 3 weeks long, and when there's some spaces in the schedule as well. So it is a 7-month journey, and part of what happens is the working in a group field like this and with a teacher like Raja, that it's like a tuning fork. So you are opening your energy field at each stage. It's not just what you're learning and the practices you're doing. You're literally connecting into a field of awakening current and transformation. And so you're really taking a 7-month journey to activate and open your energy system on all these levels and really harvest the fruits of that. Not just for the 7 months, but really ongoing. So it's very much an initiation, which means it's like an ignition of a part of your soul and energy that can come to the foreground and really stabilize and serve you from that point forward. So there's going to be 22 class sessions. It begins with the introductory session. With even for the folks who have done the 7 weeks, it's going to be valuable to recontextualize and frame this deepening work. So we want everybody to start together. But also gives a little chance for the new people out there to catch up and do the seven initial modules that were offered in the program, which are bundled when you go to awakeningyourkundalini.com. And there'll be a different address to register for the graduates. So pay attention to your email for people who are graduating from the previous program. So a few things I want to mention on a high level. This is a video-based course. Raja has worked a lot in the video sphere, and I think he was very masterful at harnessing the power of the video medium to connect with you, to demonstrate what he's teaching, to also transmit energy. So there's a rapport that develops by having the visual connection with him and really enhances your experience. You get recordings of every session, both audio and video. We do full transcripts so that you can know everything, every word, and you can go back over it. We have a Facebook community that's very powerful, and also quite a number of bonuses as well. So you can find more details on the bonuses at awakeningyourkundalini.com. And I'll just highlight them a little bit here. So there's one called Yoga, Aligning to the Source. There's a video from Raja. Raja, you want to share a bit more about that first bonus?
This was a short film I made on yoga, which included BKS Iyengar and Devdutt Patnaik, two great teachers of both the yoga tradition and the mythologies of India. And what I did there was we explored the mystical origins of yoga. And this was a short half an hour, delicious little film I made that I really loved making. And I want to share that with you. And this, I think you will all enjoy it and get to learn about the mystical origins of yoga and where it came from and how it is practiced and what you can do with it.
That sounds fantastic. And if you go to the page at awakeningyourkundalini.com, you have a bit more detail on the modules and these bonuses that also highlight. The next one is called the Garland of Letters, creating a sacred geometry in your body, really building upon some of the material that you heard about today in a very brief form. We also have a video from Raja on Guruji Amritananda. You want to share a little bit more about Guruji Amritananda?
So my work in Shakti, I had come from a Kriya and Raja Yoga tradition, and when I got introduced to Shakti with the Bij mantra of Lalita, I went in search of a master that I could learn from, and I discovered Guruji Amritananda, who was a nuclear physicist who at the age of 48 gave up a prestigious career in the top nuclear institute in India and became a guru, a yogi, and not a yogi, but a tantric guru, a Kaula tradition guru of the goddess. And he built this beautiful city in South India called Devipuram, where I was initiated. And I took up his tradition and learned from him the mysteries of Shakti. And everything I know about Shakti has come from his teachings and his ideas, and now my own understanding of it. So it will be a blessing for all of you to see where this origin comes from. And I have made other films on other traditions, but this one is very valuable to me and very personal to me, that I hope you will enjoy it.
Sounds fantastic. Well, it's really truly an amazing program that you've designed, and I know this is going to be a very powerful catalyst for people's awakening, transformation, to really tap these higher echelons of our spiritual potential, and then be able to emanate that and move from that in the world, so that we become better creators and manifestors. So it's going to be a powerful 7 months, and just based on what we know from the 7-week journey, going to 7 months is going to take it so much further. So the investment is a bit more for this program because it is a 7-month program. And what we find is that it's important to sort of invest in a program, commensurate with the benefit. So it's a level of energetic commitment, and which also creates a more powerful container and more value for everybody involved. So it's 7 payments of $198. So we've kept it very accessible on a monthly level, or you get a discount when you pay in full right up front. And that's about 10% discount. So that's $1,296. So this is a more serious investment in your transformation and awakening. And the benefit, though, is you get the full $300 program that we initially offered as the 7-week introduction as well. So you're getting the full benefit of that, and you're getting this additional 7-month journey for an additional, essentially, $1,000 for that 7-month journey to then take it deeper. So you're really getting the best of both the introductory and the advanced work, and you're getting an amazing community. You're getting the guidance and transmission of Raja, which is quite potent, and a community of people who are really sincerely doing this work together, because that heightens the process, it deepens the field, and really creates this potential to awaken to a whole nother level of your being. So, and I should mention that there is a early registration discount available. This is $100 off. This is going to be through May 15th. So if you register by May 15th, which also gives you more time to go through the preliminary modules, the introductory modules, if you are starting this work for the first time. So if you register by May 15th, which is today until May 15th, so it's better to do it right away, you get a $100 discount off of either the payment plan or the single pay. So we're just delighted and thrilled by this program. We know it's going to be an incredible catalyst for your awakening. Raja, it's so wonderful to work with you on this. And one thing, you were a little more like serious today, but I think you should also know that you're also a hell of a lot of fun. Like we passed around internally, you had a whole like dance break module, raising the Kundalini, that was just hilarious in one of the introductory programs. And everybody on our staff got a hoot out of it. So Raja is not only profound, he's also a lot of fun. And so I think you'll really enjoy the playful qualities in this course as well. So Raja, anything that's still on your heart that you want to share with folks who are considering taking this next step of your journey?
One thing that all the students who have been with me for the last 7-8 weeks will tell you is that I'm also very active in social media. So I come and answer questions on Facebook almost every day. And our Facebook group, we had 610 at 20 students in total, and we had 360 on Facebook. So it was a very active community with over 100 people regularly posting and asking questions. And people were able to write to me also directly and ask questions. So a lot of very intimate things and experiences. I was advising people on that. So I am not an aloof teacher who goes off and, does the class and then vanishes for a week. I am with you. I'm not going to let you go through this alone. I am going to hold your hand, and we're going to take this journey together. And I promise you that no matter what precipice you come to, what fears come up, what ecstasies happen, I'll be there to guide you and show you how to get on the right track and experience them, talk to them, address them, and open the next stage in your journey. So this is my job. My job is to do service to you, and I want to do that for you for the next 7 months. This is my commitment and my promise to you.
I love that. I love the level of commitment that you have to show up for people, to create a really safe and evolutionary journey for them, and to really have their deepest questions answered. It's so beautiful. So I encourage all of you to go to awakeningyourkundalini.com, tune in with your own knowing, give it a read, and if you're getting a yes, to go for it. We do have a money-back guarantee of your satisfaction, so there's really no risk. You sign up today, you get $100 off, and you really begin to activate this field of awareness, of consciousness, to go deeper and to really join in this amazing journey with Raja. So Raja, I think we're at the end of our hour together, and I would love to, since we started with the invocation, I'd love for you to just end with some sort of blessing or prayer or activation, so that we can end with the feeling of the awakening of our Kundalini and really carry that forward from this really illuminating call.
Just sit with me. Open your heart center. And we're going to chant the sound Shreem together. Shreem. S-H-R-E-E-M. Shreem. And I want you to chant it with me. And as you chant it, look at me and feel the energy around me. Feel it in my third eye, in my hands, and let it come into your hearts. Open your heart and let me in, and send me your heart vibration towards me as you chant the Shreem, and we do it together. Ready? Open your hearts. Shreem. 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 Now close your eyes and imagine a beam of light coming in through the top of your head, pouring into your body as I chant the Lalita Bij. Ka-e-ilari to your heart. Hasa-ka-halari down to your yoni and linga. Sakalari Kailari Asakahalari Sakalari Kailari Asakahalari Sakalari Shri 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 Iti Shevam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace be to all of you, and to your beings, and wellness, and to your families, and to the whole world. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Raja. What a beautiful blessing this hour has been. And thank you all for joining us. And let's go forth and create a field of awakened possibilities. And if you are called to go deeper, you are warmly welcomed into the Awakening Your Kundalini Advanced Program at awakeningyourkundalini.com. So tune in. If you get a yes, go for it. Get the discount and join this amazing group and this beautiful teacher to really realize your spiritual potential. Thank you all. Blessings.